Lucy is a mutant with devilish horn called Diclonius who escapes a secret facility, but while doing so she suffers a head injury, causing her to develop a second childlike personality as Nayu. Fortunately, she is found by a young guy named Kyuta who shelters him, but they soon get hunted by government agents and other Diclonius. At a hidden research facility, a guard is suddenly attacked and killed by an invisible force. His arm is sliced off and then he is beheaded. Another guard watches in fear as a strange girl locked inside a cage uses her powers to lift the keys from the dead guard. She frees herself from the restraints and quickly destroys them. Using her mysterious abilities, she opens the heavy vault doors, surrounded by the blood and remains of the two guards. Elsewhere in the same building, a young woman named Kizuraji talks with other secretaries about her boss Kurama. Although he seems strict, she defends him and blames herself for not being good enough in her job. She promises to become a better assistant for him. Just then, an emergency alarm goes off, warning of a break-in and sealing off the research area to non-combat staff. Ignoring the danger, Kizuraji carries a tray of coffee to her boss, trying not to spill anything even as she nearly falls. Meanwhile, the strange girl, still without clothes and wearing a helmet, walks through the facility, killing all guards who try to stop her. She uses nearby objects as weapons when her enemies are too far for her usual powers. Despite heavy gunfire, she survives, blocking bullets with clever timing and deadly accuracy. She finally reaches a large door and escapes into the next part of the building. There she runs into a squad of guards led by Kurama. Kizuraji accidentally stumbles in front of the girl, and Kurama calls the girl Lucy. Without hesitation, Lucy tears off Kizuraji's head before anyone can react. The guards open fire and Lucy uses Kizuraji's body as a shield. She then uses a pen as a weapon and kills several more guards. Kurama tries to trap her by sealing the doors, but someone unknown causes the blast door to malfunction, letting Lucy escape. Kurama orders a sniper with a powerful rifle to aim at Lucy's head. The bullet hits her helmet, knocking it off, but she survives the shot and falls in the ocean below, now revealed to have long pink hair. Kurama assumes she is dead. In Kamakura at Gokurakuji Station, a girl named Yuka spots a boy on a staircase and calls him Kota, her cousin. She had been waiting for him and knew she would find him there, because he always liked the ocean view. They walk together to the beach they used to visit as children. Kota remembers his younger sister, Kane, who once gave him a shell as a gift. The memory makes him sad. As they walk, Yuka sees a naked girl on the beach. It is Lucy, but now she seems very different and only makes a baby-like sound. When she trips and starts crying, Kota gives her his clothes. They notice a wound on her head and two strange horns, which are real. Seeing the horns makes Kota feel scared, and he remembers a girl yelling at him, calling him a liar, but he does not understand why. Yuka suggests they take the girl home with them. They go to the house where Kota is staying, a place owned by Yuka's mother. Kota is surprised by how big it is and how much cleaning it needs. While they look around, the girl becomes upset and pees on the floor, which leads to Yuka bathing her and Kota cleaning up. Later, at dinner, the girl struggles to feed herself, so Kota helps her. They decide to call her Nunyu, based on the sound she makes. Back at the research facility, Kurama's assistant says there was no problem with the blast doors, meaning someone may have helped Lucy escape. Kurama insists that Lucy must be stopped and tells his assistant to send in a special team. At a training site, the team's best soldier, Bando, finishes a practice session and complains about the fake enemies. When a secretary surprises him, he violently hits her and leaves, eager for the mission. At Kota's house, Yuka has finished cleaning, and Kota says he will handle it next time. While unpacking, they find a seashell from Kane, who he says died from an illness. Yuka is confused by this but says nothing. Nayu picks up the shell and suddenly breaks it. Kota becomes furious and yells at her, scaring her off. It begins to rain as Nayu runs away crying. Yuka helps Kota calm down and explains maybe Nayu saw how sad the shell made him and broke it to help him feel better. She also tells him that he might be making his sister's memory even sadder by always remembering her with pain. Yuka decides to go out and look for Nayu. Meanwhile, Bando and his team arrive in Kamakura. He plays a cruel trick on a fellow soldier using an empty gun, showing how unstable he is. Their leader warns them again about how deadly Lucy is. On the beach, he stands alone in the rain, lost and confused, waiting.
A young girl is living near the beach under a small shelter with her puppy. One day, she hears a helicopter flying above. Inside the helicopter is a special military team sent to capture or kill a girl with horns known as Lucy. Their leader warns the team about her mysterious invisible power called a vector, though he doesn't know much about it. One of the soldiers, Bando, ignores the warning, confident in his skills. He eagerly opens the door of the helicopter before it lands. Meanwhile, Nayu, the innocent version of Lucy caused by a head injury, plays in the mud by the shore. Back at Maple House, Kuda reflects on the broken seashell Nayu had snapped in half. Remembering Yuka's words, he starts to understand why Nayu did it. He hears a knock at the door and opens it to find two policemen. They are looking for a missing girl with horns and ask Kuda to contact them if he sees her. Once they leave, Kuda quickly heads out, likely to join Yuka in searching for New. On the beach, Bando and his partner Satu are also looking for Lucy. Satu seems nervous about her powers and wants to know how to fight back. Bando doesn't care for the details and moves ahead. They find New crawling on the beach, which excites Bando. In town, Yuka is asking a police officer about her missing friend, but suddenly remembers the beach might be a good place to check. Kauta reaches the beach and finds New cold and shivering. Just as he tries to take her away, Bando and Satu knock him down and threaten him at gunpoint. They talk about their mission, and Koda demands to know what's going on, but Bando doesn't answer. Koda tries to escape with New but is stopped by gunfire. Bando then aims directly at New. Meanwhile, the policemen from earlier leave, wondering what kind of threat the girl could possibly be. Yuka arrives and sees Koda injured. She calls an ambulance as he asks where New has been taken. Nearby, New holds Koda's umbrella while being dragged away by the soldiers. Satu wants to report the capture, but Bando hits him, wanting to see Lucy's powers in action. Bando hits New, trying to make her reveal her true form. When she tries to run, he orders Satu to shoot her. A gunshot is heard, and blood is seen. However, Satu ends up being the one who is killed. He has a hole in his body and is torn apart by Lucy's invisible arms. Bando realizes too late that Lucy has returned. She walks through gunfire and attacks him using flying objects. Bando remembers her power works within 2 meters and tries to escape, even destroying a boat she throws at him, but he can't stop her. Lucy takes Satu's machine gun and uses it against him. She overpowers Bando easily, cutting off his arm, breaking another, and finally blinding him. Just before finishing him, Lucy takes something from Bando that he had taken from Niu. This causes her great pain. She runs away in confusion, changing back into Niu. The girl from the shelter sees her pass by, then finds the injured Bando. She calms him down, ties off his wounds, and goes to call an ambulance. At the hospital, Yuka watches over Koda until the police return to question him. He lies, saying the attacker was a gang member and describes the girl as a college student. The police hint that he should forget everything, especially since his injuries aren't serious. The girl from the shelter and her puppy walk along the beach, now holding Koda's umbrella. Meanwhile, Koda and Yuka take a taxi back to Maple House. Koda quietly says that maybe New would be better off gone, but denies it when Yuka questions him. When they reach home, they find New waiting outside, soaked and holding a seashell as a gift to replace the one she broke.
Oh my god!
Kuda hugs her and thanks her. As they settle in, Yuka remembers a childhood promise from Kuda never to forget her. Realizing she forgot to give him the house key, she tells the taxi driver to turn back. Inside the house, New has caught a cold from the rain. Kuda is worried about her and doesn't want her taken away again. He tries to help her change into dry clothes. With his eyes closed, he accidentally touches her chest, which New finds interesting. Just as he pulls her shorts up, Yuka walks in, shocked by the scene. Back at the island lab Lucy escaped from, Kurama and his assistant confirm that Lucy was responsible for Satu's death and Bando's injuries. Still, they have no idea where she is now. They enter a mysterious room marked with the number 7. Inside is a girl with horns like Lucy's. She is chained to a wall and bleeding. When she hears Kurama's voice, she quietly calls him Papa. Kuda tries to explain to Yuka why New was half-dressed, but Yuka doesn't believe him. She becomes angry, even slaps him, and storms out when he fails to remember a childhood festival they once attended. Soon after, Kuda realizes he's come down with a cold. At the island facility, Kurama unlocks a blood-covered Diclonius girl named Nana. His assistants watch as Kurama gently speaks to her and asks for her help. Meanwhile, Yuka sits at home, thinking about her childhood memories with Kuda. She remembers how he was always better at the carving games during festivals, and how he promised to do whatever she wanted if she improved. Present-day Yuka cries as she breaks some of the wooden carvings she had saved over the years to show Kuta, feeling foolish. Back at the lab, Kurama's assistants comment that Nana is not really Kurama's daughter, even though she calls him Papa. She has survived the pain of her life by forming a strong emotional bond with him. Nana refuses to hurt humans, and promises to do anything for Kurama. He tells her the one she must find is not a human, but another Diclonius. Even then, she refuses to kill. Kurama changes his order to just finding and reporting on this person, and Nana agrees. Kurama tells his staff to prepare Nana for her mission the next day.
At Maple House, Koda is in bed with a fever. Nayo, still dressed inappropriately, doesn't know how to help. Yuka returns with clothes for Nunyu and is pulled inside by her. She finds the room messy with objects new gathered in a failed attempt to help Koda. Thinking it's some kind of healing charm, Yuka takes care of Koda, placing cool towels on his head. Koda tells her he doesn't want to go to the hospital and apologizes for forgetting their past. He explains that losing both his father and sister caused him to forget parts of his childhood. Yuka realizes something is off because she remembers different causes for their deaths. She leaves the room and cries, finally understanding that Koda's forgetfulness is caused by trauma, not carelessness. Elsewhere, Bando, still badly injured, argues with Kurama about a required surgery to remove the risk of spreading the Diclonius infection. Bando is furious and demands answers. Kurama explains that Dicloni are a new form of humans with invisible arms called vectors. Their main purpose is to infect men and spread their DNA, replacing regular humans over time. Lucy, in particular, is the only one capable of full reproduction. Bando realizes he has already been infected. Later, Koda wakes up feeling better. Yuka gently checks his temperature and agrees not to involve the police in Nayu's case. She decides to move in with Koda to avoid any misunderstandings since he's living alone with Niu. No, wearing her new clothes, smiles at Koda. On the island, Nana is thrilled with her new outfit. Kurama warns her to back off if things get dangerous. Shirakawa worries Lucy is too powerful for Nana, but Kurama trusts Nana's ability to sense her. Back at Maple House, Yuka jokes about Kyuta living with two girls and warns him to avoid strange thoughts. While cleaning, Kyuta accidentally bumps into Niu's chest. At first she seems shy, but then she takes his hand and makes him touch her.
Nice.
Yuka walks in, sees them, and slaps Kyuta again, warning him to behave. On her way out to shop, she misses Mayu the beach girl, returning the umbrella with Maple House's address on it. Kyuta speaks to Mayu and realizes she can confirm what he saw on the beach. Yuka sees Mayu's small dog outside and becomes suspicious, but her mood changes after hearing Mayu's story about the beach incident. This makes Kyuta angry, knowing the police had lied about the soldiers. Meanwhile, inside, Niu is curious about an old wooden box but slips on the polished floor. As they check on her, Niu suddenly changes. Lucy reappears, her invisible arms ready to strike Koda, but she stops when she sees his face. A memory of Koda yelling at her flashes in her mind. She walks past them and leaves the house. Yuka tells Mayu the box Niu was holding belonged to Koda and that she kept it safe all these years. Koda can barely remember it. Outside, Lucy hears the dog bark and uses her powers on it, though what she does remains unclear. Inside, Koda and Yuka are concerned, but they believe Yu will return. Yuka tries to laugh off the talk of her horns. Mayu prepares to leave, but Koda asks for her name and contact information. She says her name is Mayu but walks off before giving anything else. Outside, she panics when her dog Wanta is missing but is soon relieved when he returns. She notices leash is cut but doesn't investigate further. At Maple House, Koda decides to search for Nunyu. Yuka, still emotional, brings up the old box and surprises Koda by asking if he wants to touch chest like he did with Nunyu, showing she is confused and hurt. Meanwhile, Nana arrives near a cemetery where she senses Lucy. She remembers asking Kurama for his necktie, which she now wears as a headband. She finally finds Lucy and calmly tells her that she's come to bring her back. Nana appears and tells Lucy that she has come to take her back to the Diclonius Research Institute. She ignores Lucy's threats and is surprised when Lucy claims she has never killed anyone, especially not real people. Their fight begins, and Lucy quickly learns that Nana is very powerful. She gets knocked down a stone stairway into a graveyard. Lucy becomes angry and realizes that Nana's with her invisible arms is longer. Nana says she will stop Lucy for Kurama's sake. Meanwhile, Koda and Yuka argue. Yuka wants to know how Koda feels about her and about Niu. Koda doesn't give a clear answer, which upsets Yuka, and she slaps him before running away. She remembers the funeral of Koda's father and sister. At that time, people said Koda was in shock. Yuka now understands that Koda, not she, is the one who needs sympathy. In the graveyard, Nana grabs Lucy and pushes her against a gravestone, saying she could easily kill her. Lucy responds by throwing gravestones at Nana, but Nana's longer reach gives her an edge. At the same time, Maya gets leftover bread from a shop by saying it's for her dog Wana. She tells the shopkeeper that she will turn 14 the next day. On her way home, she bumps into Yuka, who notices the bread and grows concerned. Maya leaves quickly, and Yuka considers checking the shop for more information. Back in the graveyard, Nana realizes Lucy won't return with her. She again boasts about her power, but Lucy starts throwing objects from around the graveyard, making Nana back off. The noise catches Maya's attention as she eats nearby. Lucy starts to gain the upper hand and even smashes Nana into the ground. When Nana tries to attack from the air, Lucy blocks it. Maya gets closer and recognizes Lucy from Maple House. Just as Nana tries to disable Lucy, Mayu's presence distracts her. Lucy takes this chance and cuts off one of Nana's legs and the fingers of one hand. Mayu screams and gets pushed away. Lucy then stands over the hurt Nana, who cries for Kurama. Nana tries to act brave, but Lucy rips off one of her arms. Nana begs for her life, but Lucy tears off her other arm and leg too. Before she can kill Nana, snipers shoot at her and stop her. Kurama arrives with soldiers. Nana, though in pain, is happy to see him and focuses her mind to block Lucy's powers. Kurama walks past Lucy and picks up Nana. When Lucy taunts him, he hits her and says he doesn't care what she does to him if it eases Nana's pain. This surprises the soldiers, who wonder why Lucy doesn't fight back. Lucy, knowing she has no power left, runs away and hides it from her enemies. Kurama comforts Nana, who cries not because of pain but because she fears she's no longer useful to him. Yuka remembers the shopkeeper and asks about Mayu. She learns Mayu is homeless and wonders if she should tell Kata. At the same time, Kurama and Nana are flown away by helicopter, and Kurama is told that he must meet Chief Kakuzawa. Yuka finds Lucy, now back in her innocent Ayu form, and takes her home, treating her wounds. She decides to accept Nyu's place in their home. Kata waits for them and gets a phone call from a hospital about a girl asking for him. He thinks it's Nyu but finds Mayu instead. Though surprised, he offers her food when her stomach growls. At home, Nayu and Yuka are already waiting, and Mayu feels uneasy seeing Nayu, remembering Lucy's attack, but she pushes away the memory, thinking she imagined it. Mayu enjoys her food and takes a bath for the first time in a long time. He joins her and happily helps her wash. Meanwhile, Kata and Yuka talk about Mayu's situation. Kata explains why he doesn't trust the police after what happened with Bando at the beach. Nyu runs out of the bath, all soapy and naked, causing Yuka to scold her and pull her back in. Yuka then offers Mayu a place to stay, and Mayu shyly agrees. At the same time, Kurama meets Chief Kakuzawa, who tells him to kill Nana. Kurama is shocked but seems to agree. The chief also gets a call from his son, Professor Kakuzawa, asking for more research money. The professor is told to find Lucy and also says his team is close to creating a vaccine against Diclonius. In secret, he is happy that Lucy is still free and plans to make her his. Later, Shirakawa gets ready to put Nana to sleep forever, but Kurama takes over. He tells her not to worry about the shot. Nana surprises him by tearfully saying goodbye before falling still. Kurama quietly apologizes as she lies unmoving. Kurama stands quietly by the ocean as Shirakawa reports she has officially recorded the incident involving Nana. She asks if he feels regret, but Kurama replies that regret is too pure a feeling for him. He only feels shame. Elsewhere at Maple House, Yuka wakes up and finds a note from Mayu. In the note, Mayu thanks them for their kindness but says she doesn't want to be a burden. She promises to repay the hospital costs one day. Yuka shows the note to Kota, who worries about Mayu. He says they should let Mayu stay with them. Yuka isn't sure at first, but when Kota talks about sending Mayu back to her home, Yuka reminds him that Mayu ran away for a reason. If she had wanted to go back, she wouldn't have left in the first place. Realizing this, Kota gives up trying to understand Yuka's way of thinking. Meanwhile, Mayu and her dog Wana are seen walking by train tracks, while Nyu plays with the grandfather clock at the inn. Kota and Yuka then go out to look for Mayu. At the marketplace, Nai stares in amazement at fresh fish. A bakery owner tells Kota and Yuka she hasn't seen Mayu, but gives them something for her. Mayu remembers the pain she faced at home. After her mother remarried, Mayu's stepfather started abusing her. When she told her mother, instead of helping, her mother became jealous and told her to leave. One day, after another attempt by her stepfather, Mayu ran away. At the beach, she first met Wanda, and the two became close friends. Back in the present, Mayu is sad she can't stay at Maple House, but tells Wanda they still have each other. Suddenly, a woman grabs Wanda, claiming he is her dog. Mayu begs to see him sometimes, but the woman walks away coldly. Mayu pretends to be happy for Wanda, hoping he'll have a better life. On a cold and rainy day, Mayu hides in a beach shed, trying not to cry on her 14th birthday. Police spot her on the beach after someone reports a young girl wandering around. She runs away and bumps into Kota, Yuka, and Niyu. They tell the police that they're all one family and had a small argument. Mayu is unsure at first but returns with them to Maple House. There, Yuka shows her a birthday cake given by the bakery owner, and Nayu offers her a bowl of rice as a present. Overwhelmed with emotion, Mayu cries and Yuka and Yu comfort her. Outside, Wana returns, having run away from the woman to be with Mayu again. Sometime later, Mayu is happily getting ready for school. Yuka tries to wake up the lazy Kyuta, who still doesn't understand why Mayu's mother didn't care about letting her daughter go. However, they both agree not to ask Mayu any more questions, just as they promised. On their way to school, they remind Yunai not to remove her bow, which hides her horns. Ne has also started saying a few words besides her usual sound. In class, they hope the strange Professor Kuzawa doesn't speak to Nunyu. Unfortunately, Nyu responds during class and catches the professor's interest. He stops the three to follow him to his office. There, he claims Nayu is Lucy, his brother's daughter, and says their family has been looking for her. He warns them they could face kidnapping charges but offers to stay quiet if they forget everything. Yuka disagrees, but Kota feels they have no choice and agrees. Kakuzawa keeps Nyu behind as they leave. Ne cries out Kota's name, the first time she says a name clearly. Outside, Kota and Yuka try to accept that Nyu may be better with her Creole family. Still, they cry over her loss. Meanwhile, in his secret lab, Professor Kakuzawa plans to sedate and sexually abuse Nyu, calling them the future of a new human race. He believes they will replace the current humans. He injects Nayu and prepares to act. At Meeple House, Mayu asks about Niu's disappearance and wonders if Kakuzawa told the truth. Kota and Yuka decide to return to the school and confront him. Before bed, Mayu asks Kota if he would cry for her like he did for Niu. He avoids answering, upsetting her. Once alone, he leans against the wall, clearly emotional. At school, Kakuzawa celebrates his twisted plan, but instead of staying unconscious, Lucy awakens. She demands to know who he is. He claims to be on her side and wants to help destroy humans. To prove they belong together, he removes his wig and reveals horns like hers. Lucy, however, isn't impressed. She calls him a fool and kills him by cutting off his head. Bando wakes up in a medical office where a doctor has just finished giving him a cybernetic arm. His vision is still blurry and yellow, but the doctor assures him it will get better. He also tells Bando that the arm is the best model available. Bando complains about an upcoming castration surgery and is given a sedative to calm him. Before the doctor can explain the arm's power, Bando suddenly punches him and escapes through the window. He realizes he needs to find new weapons quickly before losing his clearance from the Special Assault Team. Meanwhile, at the Maple House, Yuka leaves the bath and hears Kota sadly preparing to go out and find Niu, who he believes has been taken by Professor Kakuzawa. Yuka offers to go with him, but Kota refuses gently but firmly, which leaves her upset and disappointed. At the university, Professor Kakuzawa's assistant Arakawa returns to his office and notices that Miyu's ribbon is missing. Kota arrives, saying he has a meeting with the professor. Arakawa takes him to the basement lab and tells him that the professor has new younger brother, meaning Kota has been lied to about Niu's identity. On the street nearby, Lucy is seen again, using her invisible powers near a nervous young woman. The woman soon collapses, but it's unclear whether she is dead or just unconscious. Lucy seems frustrated with herself. Back in the lab, Arakawa explains to Kota that the professor was studying a disease that causes humans to grow horns. She says survivors are usually killed, but she does not know much more. They eventually find the professor's dead body and his horned head, which shocks both of them. Arakawa becomes scared and urges Kota to leave and forget what he has seen. Kota walks out, confused and dazed, and Arakawa contacts the professor's father and the police. When Kota returns home, Yuka is worried. He tells her he feels sick but avoids sharing details of what happened. Even though he tries to remember, the events at the lab seem like a blur. At the Declonius Research Institute, Chief Kakuzawa learns that his son has been killed. He believes Lucy is responsible and criticizes Kurama, the one leading the search for her. Kurama explains that Nana has already been dealt with, and their searches have not led to Lucy yet. After Kurama leaves, the chief mocks him. Outside, Kurama tells Shirakawa that his daughter is dead, and his wife committed suicide after seeing what he had done. Shirakawa is left speechless. Later, Kota washes up and prepares to search for Niu again. This time he lets Yuka join him, which makes her happy. Mayu wishes them luck as they leave, hoping Niu will return on her own as she has before. By the beach, Mayu meets Bando, who is recovering. He feels uncomfortable being helped by a young girl, so he gives her a written promise to protect her from any danger. Before he leaves, he asks if she has seen a girl with horns. Mayu tells him about Niu. In the mountains, Kota and Yuka take shelter from rain in a small shrine. As they sit close, Yuka asks if Kota likes her. Kota apologizes for not remembering much about their past, but says he does like her. They share a kiss. Later, Mayu runs into Bando again, who now demands to know everything she knows about Niu. When she refuses, he hits her. She reminds him of his promise to protect her, which stops him. He warns her not to cross paths with him again and walks away. Back at the shrine, Yuka says she can forgive Kota for forgetting the past if he stays by her side. Kota kisses her again. Just then, they hear footsteps and find Lucy and Yu nearby. Lucy tries to leave, but Kota stops her. Her invisible powers push Yuka back, which causes Lucy to recall a painful memory from childhood involving Kota. She tries to walk away again, saying she now remembers everything and wants to make her own place in the world. Kota tells her that the Maple House is her home now. Lucy breaks down, saying she doesn't deserve to be near him and almost reveals a past crime. Before she can finish, Niu returns happy and crying and hugs Kota. He hugs her back while Yuka watches, annoyed. Niu remembers playing in the water with Kota as a child, but the touching moment ends with another slap from Yuka. On the beach, a pot opens, and Nana wakes up with new limbs connected to her vectors. A recorded message from Kurama tells her to use the money he left and hide until he comes to find her. Nana is sad he's not with her. Just then, Bando appears and recognizes her horns. He demands to know who she is. Nana does not answer Bando's repeated questions about her horns. Instead, she behaves with unusual pride, saying even 100 Bandos could not hurt her. She claims that the only reason she doesn't kill him is because of a promise she made to Kurama, whom she calls Papa. Bando wrongly assumes that Nana must be working with Lucy and attacks her. Nana is shocked when she cannot block his bullet using her invisible arms, called vectors, and gets hurt. Bando proudly explains that he used special tungsten bullets made for fighting Lucy. He thinks that if he stays out of Nana's vector range, she won't be able to fight back, and he plans to kill her up close. Meanwhile, back at the Maple House, Kota looks for Juana the dog and finds that Niu let him run loose again. He returns inside and talks to Nayu, who plays cheerfully. Yuka and Mayu are cooking in the kitchen, and Mayu is happy Nayu has returned. Yuka is less enthusiastic but acts kindly. Yuka reminds Mayu about her homework, but Mayu wants to help instead, saying it makes her feel like a helpful member of the house. As she cooks, Mayu wonders if she should tell the others about Bando and his threats toward Nyu, unaware of Nyu's true identity as Lucy. On the beach in Kamakura, Bando keeps questioning Nana, who doesn't understand what he's asking until he mentions another girl with horns. When Nana realizes he means Lucy, Bando takes this as proof they know each other and shoots one of her arms. Nana starts crying, saying she doesn't want to fight and only wants to live peacefully. Bando mocks her, calls her a monster, and says people like her should be killed young. He believes her only value is for experiments. He continues yelling and demands Lucy's location. Nana begins to lose control and hears a dark voice in her mind. She says if the world doesn't want her, she will destroy it. Bando is shocked to see her power rise. At the Maple House, Koda tries to ask Yu where she had gone, but Yuka suggests that they just be thankful she is back. Still, Koda can't shake the strange feeling he has about her return. Back on the beach, Nana walks toward Bando, who becomes excited, thinking he's about to have the fight he wanted. He shoots her again and again in the arms and legs, but she continues walking, surprising him. He does not know that her limbs are artificial and can't feel pain. Bando runs to a part of the beach that is empty so she can't use anything around as a weapon. He taunts her again and fires another shot, but Nana fires off one of her artificial arms, hitting him back. She walks over to him, reminding him of Lucy, and teases him about losing his gun. Bando then uses a hidden gun and shoots again. Although he misses the perfect shot, the bullet still hits her head slightly. This snaps Nana out of her rage, and she breaks down crying, calling for Kurama. She asks Bando about his fake arm, and he responds angrily, believing Nana and Lucy are friends, but Nana explains that Lucy hurt her too and shows her scars. Realizing they both hate Lucy, they consider a temporary partnership. Bando is surprised to learn from Nana that Decloni can sense each other, but he refuses to team up with her and instead tells her to tell him when she senses Lucy. Nana does not understand how to use a phone, so Bando just tells her to find him on the beach instead. Nana is annoyed by his tone, but when she tries to help him up, she loses control of her arm and sends him falling again, which makes him angry. At the research center, Shirakawa talks to Chief Kakuzawa, who is angry that Kurama did not kill Nana as ordered, but Kakuzawa says they should now focus on capturing Lucy. Shirakawa guesses Kurama sees Nana as the daughter he lost. Kakuzawa laughs and calls Kurama foolish but decides not to punish him for now. Kurama, sitting alone, looks at photos, one himself with a pregnant woman, one of a woman named Kizuraji, and one of Nana marked as dead. He promises to protect Nana no matter what it takes. In Kamakura, Nana walks alone, cold and sad, missing her papa. She doesn't understand how the world works. She's a purse full of money, but doesn't know what it is. At a food stall, she tries to buy a crepe, but walks away confused and disappointed. Her dirty clothes make people stare, but she doesn't notice. At the Maple House, Koda helps Yuka with dishes. Yuka asks about Mayu, and Koda says she went on a walk with Wanta, though it's strange that she's gone so long. Mayu elsewhere is looking for a public phone to call Bandu, but Wanta suddenly runs off. Nana sits near a small fire, back at the place where she lost to Lucy. She feels hopeless and fears she'll never see Kurama again. Suddenly Wanta runs up to her and barks. Mayu catches up, surprised to see Nana. She notices Nana's new limbs and thinks maybe the past battle with Lucy was just a bad dream, but when one of Nana's legs falls off, Mayu faints. At the house, Nyu plays with the broken grandfather clock. Koda is not worried, knowing she can't break it further. He tries to ask about her time with Professor Kakuzawa, but Nyu doesn't understand, and Koda remembers how horribly Kakuzawa died. Nana carries the fainted Mayu to safety. When Mayu wakes up, she's glad Wana and Nana are safe. Nana explains she doesn't know how the world works and asks Mayu to be her friend. Mayu agrees, and Nana is happy, saying she can handle being poor and hungry but not lonely. While chatting, Nana throws more money into the fire, thinking it's useless paper. Mayu panics, realizing Nana has burned a lot of money. She tests Nana by joking that money comes alive and attacks people, which scares Nana until Mayu reveals the lie. They gather the rest of the money, and Mayu says she's jealous that Kurama gave Nana so much trust and care. Nana says she wants her papa more than money. When Mayu brings up Bando wanting to hurt Nyu, Nana finally understands that Naya is actually Lucy. Back at the house, Koda is about to go look for Mayu. Mayu plays and gropes Yuka from behind, surprising Koda. Yuka chases after Kuda in frustration. Outside, Mayu and Nana wait near the house. Nana cannot sense Lucy, so she thinks maybe she has the wrong place. When Kuda arrives, he bombards Nana with questions, but Mayu calms him down. Nana turns to leave, but Mayu rips her dress, giving them a reason to stay. Koda offers to make her a plate of food, using it as an excuse to get her inside. Inside, Yuka continues dealing with Nyu's annoying behavior when she hears Koda's voice. Koda tries to open the stuck door, and now bursts it open happily, but when Nana sees Nayu, she instantly recognizes her as Lucy and attacks, sending her crashing through glass and wood. Nana is shocked when the people at Maple House rush to protect Nayu. In Nana's eyes, Nayu is the dangerous Lucy. She thinks Nayu is pretending to be innocent to trick everyone. When she tries to attack again, Kota stops her by slapping her and tells her not to hurt Nayu. Mayu feels guilty for bringing Nana to their home, while Nana is confused and upset that nobody else sees Lucy's danger. Feeling misunderstood and hurt, Nana runs away crying and Mayu follows her. Mayu and her dog want to find Nana, who still believes she is the good one and everyone else is wrong. Mayu tries to give back the money Nana gave her, but Nana refuses and says she is angry with how she was treated. When Nana tries to leave, Mayu holds her arm, which unexpectedly comes off, frightening her. Later, they sit near a shrine and talk. Mayu says Nana was wrong to attack Nayu, but Nana still believes Nayu deserves it. Mayu is confused and asks why Nana keeps calling Nayu Lucy. Meanwhile, helicopter arrives at the Declonius Research Institute. Arakawa, the assistant of the late Professor Kakuzawa, steps out with a bag and feeling sick from the ride. She is met by Shirakawa and brought to see Chief Kakuzawa, the professor's father. When she asks why her package needed her to deliver it personally, she gets no answers. Inside the office, the bag is revealed to contain the severed head of Professor Kakuzawa. Arakawa is horrified, and when she tries to leave, the chief shoots her after showing her his horns. He tells her she has seen too much. Back near the shrine, Mayu doesn't believe Nana's story about Lucy being violent and escaping after hurting her. To prove it, Nana takes off her arm and shows Mayu her invisible powers, which she calls vectors. She explains that both she and Lucy are not normal humans and that the horns are only one sign. Mayu is shocked and realizes the fight she saw between Lucy and Nana was real. She also understands Bando had been telling the truth about Lucy's power. Nana insists that she is different from Lucy because she never uses her power to hurt others. Then she remembers she broke a rule by talking about these secrets, something her father figure Kurama told her not to do. Mayu again says that Nayu is kind and gentle, and nothing like the person Nana describes. She points out that Nayu never uses any special powers either. Nana starts to realize that even though Yu is Lucy, she never felt Lucy's violent presence around her. Nana begins to cry, feeling torn. She knows she could defeat Lucy while she's new, but it feels wrong to hurt someone who cannot fight back. Mayu begs her not to do it, and Nana is confused and upset. Back at Maple House, Kota and Yuka are taking care of Nayu, who now has a high fever. Yuka thinks they should take her to a hospital, but Kota remembers what Arakawa said about people with horns and thinks it's too risky. When Yu opens her eyes, Nana feels something change from far away and Mayu becomes concerned, realizing that Lucy has returned. Na quietly says Kota's name, but he and Yuka do not notice anything strange. At the research center, Kurama questions why Arakawa was brought in. Kakuzawa tells him she is the only one who understands his dead son's work. Kurama says they should focus on finding a cure, but Kakuzawa laughs and says he doesn't want a cure. He believes that the virus and Lucy prove humans are meant to disappear. He wants to help make a new world. Kurama says he's crazy, but Kakuzawa reminds him of his past mistakes and reveals that he knows Kurama let Nana escape. Kakuzawa warns Kurama not to betray him again and says he will now send number 35 to cap Lucy and eliminate Nana. Kota and Yuka try to help Nayu, not realizing Lucy has taken over again. Lucy is weak but manages to get up and walk around. She complains about feeling confused and says she wants to punish Nana. Then she collapses and Kota helps her lie back down. Yuka goes to her mother's house to get medicine, but warns Lucy to behave. Lucy feels angry at her weakness and at Yuka for bossing her around. Kota stays by her side, worried but unsure how to help. Lucy starts to remember her childhood after hearing similar words she had heard long ago. In her memories, Lucy is sick in the orphanage. The staff talk about her behind her back, calling her strange and saying no other kids like her. She feels lonely and goes outside where she meets a little puppy. She tells the puppy not to worry about her and says she's used to being alone, though she starts crying. Another memory comes of a boy named Tamu who bullies Lucy. He spills milk on her school bag and mocks her for being different and for having horns. He says her parents abandoned her because she's a freak. A kind girl steps in and helps Lucy, saying she doesn't have to be alone. Lucy tells her that everyone in the orphanage is miserable and tries to hurt anyone weaker. The girl helps clean her bag and offers to be her friend. That night, Lucy tries to feed the puppy but doesn't have enough food. She warns it to stay hidden from the other children. She has a dream about invisible arms coming out of her body. When she wakes up, she sees handprints all over her room, which scares her. Feeling brave, Lucy decides to tell the girl about the puppy and shows it to her. The girl promises to help and not tell anyone. Later, Tamu and his gang find the puppy and threaten to hurt it unless Lucy cries. When she refuses, they begin beating the dog. The girl enters and tries to stop them, but they reveal that she told them about the puppy. Lucy feels deeply betrayed and heartbroken. The girl says she didn't think the others would hurt the dog, but Lucy believes she lied on purpose. As the puppy is beaten to death, the children laugh and Lucy finally loses control. She calls them monsters and uses her power for the first time, killing them all in a bloody attack. Afterward, she buries the puppy and apologizes. She wonders why she has to suffer just for being different. As she hides her horns, she hears music playing. A boy nearby has a music box. They both look at each other, revealing the boy as Kauta. Lucy meets Kauta for the first time when they are both young. Kauta notices the small horns on her head, but instead of making fun of her like others do, he says he likes them and even feels a bit jealous. Lucy is shocked by this kindness, but still doesn't fully trust him. She remembers being betrayed before and tells that she hates all humans. Even so, Kauta invites her to meet him again the next day and promises to come back. That night, Lucy stays in someone's house and watches the news about 4 murdered children and a missing 5th. She is the one the police are talking about. She had killed the children and now has killed the family living in the house, just to have a place to stay. The next day, Lucy waits at the same spot, but Kauta is late. She feels upset and thinks he lied. She hides from the police, who are looking for her as a victim, not knowing she is the killer. When the rain starts, she sits sadly alone, but Kauta suddenly appears and gives her a cap to hide her horns. He says he had to sneak out and got hurt doing so because his father didn't want him outside with a murderer on the loose, not knowing that the killer is Lucy. They sit together under some trees while it rains. Kauta says he came there the day before because he saw her and thought she looked lonely. He felt happy when she liked the music from his music box. Lucy says she doesn't need pity, but deep inside she feels touched. She thanks him for the cap and blushes when he sits close to her. Before leaving, Kauta promises to meet her again. That night, Lucy kills another family so she can have shelter again. She keeps returning to the same meeting spot but becomes sad when Kauta doesn't show up for 3 days. When he finally does, he tells her that he will be leaving soon. He wants to spend the day with her, suggesting the zoo. At first, Lucy isn't interested because the talk of animals reminds her of how people used to call her names. But at the zoo, she really enjoys seeing the animals. They eat sweet snacks together and hold hands, making it clear that Lucy has started to like Kauta. She asks about his travel plans, and he says they are leaving at night after he goes to a festival with his cousin. Later, when Lucy hears people talking about the murders, she suddenly realizes how many lives she has taken. A voice in her head that looks like a bandaged version of herself tries to convince her to keep killing. Trying to cool off, Kauta takes her to a stream. They get wet and laugh together. While drying their clothes, Lucy tells Kauta that this was the happiest day of her life. When she rests her head on his back, he feels a bit shy but doesn't push her away. On the bus back, Lucy asks to join Kauta at the festival, but he says he already made a promise to go with his cousin. A small bump on the bus brings them physically closer again. In her head, the evil voice returns and fills her with jealousy, urging her to kill Kauta before he can break her heart. Lucy finds herself starting to choke Kauta without knowing. She then asks him if he would promise to kill her if she ever becomes too dangerous. Kauta doesn't really understand, and she brushes it off. They sit together on some stairs watching the ocean. Lucy hums the song from the music box and Kauta joins in. Before running off, Lucy asks whether his cousin is a boy or girl. Kauta lies and says it's a boy to protect her feelings. Lucy visits her puppy's grave and decides she will tell Kauta how she feels. At the festival, she sees him comforting Yuka, his cousin, and realizes he lied. Her heart breaks. A rude person pushes her, and she falls. In her mind, dark memories and voices return. She sees people who hurt her, her dead puppy, and the voice that tells her to kill everyone comes back stronger. She finally gives in and removes the cap Kauta gave her. She walks through the festival, and people start making fun of her. She loses control and uses her invisible arms to kill everyone around, including a kind woman who tried to help. Kauta's little sister, Kanini, sees everything and now knows Lucy is the killer. Back in the present, Lucy wakes up in her bed. She hears Kauta and Yuka arguing in another room. Nana senses Lucy's presence, and because that Lucy's scared, they may have killed Kauta and Yuka. When Lucy opens the door, she and Nana stare at each other, ready for what comes next. The fight between Lucy and Nana heats up when Lucy pushes Mayu aside using her invisible arms. She mocks Nana for losing her limbs in an earlier battle, and the two begin fighting seriously. Inside the maple house, Kauta and Yuka are in the kitchen preparing food. Kauta accidentally cuts his finger, and Yuka gently scolds him, offering to help. As she leaves, Kauta hears the sounds of fighting coming from outside. Outside, Nana manages to hit Lucy a few times but doesn't knock her down. Lucy keeps taunting her, so Nana attacks harder, even launching her own arms like missiles. Mayu begs them to stop. Yuka, noticing Nayu is missing, joins Kauta as they both head outside following the noise. In the middle of the fight, Mayu places herself between the two Diclonius, and the tear in her dress shows how close she came to being seriously hurt. Seeing this, Nana hesitates. Mayu hugs Lucy, seeing her as Niyu, and pleads for her to stop. This reminds Lucy of Kauta once begging her in the past to stop hurting people. The memory overwhelms her, and she collapses. By the time Kauta and Yuka reach her, Lucy has returned her Nayu personality, clinging to Kauta while Nana tries to warn everyone that she's still dangerous. Mayu then suggests that Nana put her arms back on so she doesn't scare the others. Interestingly, Nana realizes that she can't sense Lucy anymore when Nayu is in control. Later, the group gathers inside and offers Nana rice porridge. She hesitates at first but changes her mind after seeing how much Yu enjoys it. Kota asks about Nana and why she fought with Yu. Mayu lies, saying Nana is her homeless friend and attacked Niyu because she was hungry. Yuka invites Nana to stay for dinner, which Mayu convinces her to accept. Nana starts eating quickly, surprising everyone, even Niyu. Mayu notices her blouse is too damaged to wear anymore, and she asks if Nana can stay overnight. Yuka and Kota agree, but mainly so they can learn more about horned girls like Lucy and Nu. Nana refuses at first, remembering how she was treated before, and says she had a reason for attacking. Kota, who doesn't know the truth, argues with her. Nana interrupts by offering her bowl to Nana, trying to make peace. Yuka supports this, and Nana shocks everyone by bowing and apologizing to Nayu. Elsewhere, Kurama remembers how angry he was after being scalded by Chief Kuzawa. He thinks back to when he was a student and was invited by the younger Professor Kuzawa to work at a secret research center. Kurama was not interested in secret work at first, but the idea of discovering a new kind of human convinced him to join. Later, police surround an apartment after hearing about brutal murders. They find a crying little girl who points them to the killer. When they don't find anyone else, the girl uses invisible powers to kill the police before dying in a shootout. Kakuzawa explains through narration that several horned girls were born in this area, and their powers showed early signs of danger. Back at the lab, another Diclonius girl is tested. She is naked and frightened as heavy iron balls are fired at her. Only Kurama seems disturbed by the experiment. One of the balls hits her, showing that her powers aren't getting stronger as expected. Kakuzawa visits Kurama and defends the cruel testing, saying it's for science. Kurama disagrees and says the research should be focused on the area where the girls are born. Kakuzawa argues that these girls, Diclonius, are dangerous and naturally hate humans. He recalls a girl who killed a boy and was then bitten by the boy's dog, confused why the dog didn't like her. Kakuzawa calls them the enemy of humanity. Kurama is not convinced and leaves. Suddenly, a girl known as Number 3 escapes her room. She kills her guards with invisible arms. Kurama tries to stop her, but she kills his assistant and tells Kurama that she's thankful to meet him. Before she can explain, she's killed by Professor Kakuzawa using special bullets. He says she likely pretended to be weaker than she really was to plan her escape. Kurama is left wondering what her thank you meant. After this, scientists learn that more Diclonius girls are being born and they can't handle all of them. Chief Kakuzawa orders that all future babies born with horns be killed at birth, secretly labeling it as sudden infant death syndrome. Later, Kurama and Kakuzawa meet Kurama's assistant, Omori. His daughter was born with horns. He refuses to let her be killed, despite warning she'll grow up to hurt him. Kurama reminds him he'll hurt even more if she grows up loving him and then turns violent. Omori is devastated, and Kurama offers to do it himself so Omori can blame him. Kurama takes on the duty of killing the newborn Diclonius babies. Kakuzawa says Kurama should rest since his wife is about to give birth. At the hospital, Kurama is told his wife had cancer and her uterus was removed, though the baby survived. When he sees the baby, he is horrified to see she has horns. He remembers the promise he made to Omori and others. He quietly tells his wife he must kill the child. She reacts with anger and refuses to let him. The stress causes her to collapse from internal bleeding. Kurama goes to see the baby and realizes that both he and Omori were likely infected by Number 3 during past contact. That's how their children were born, Diclonius. He blames himself for not realizing this sooner. As he prepares to end the baby's life, his wife appears, bleeding and weak, begging him not to harm their daughter. She faints, and Kurama swears to protect their baby. Sadly, she dies from her injuries. Tests confirm that any man touched by a Diclonius' vectors becomes infected and can father more horned children. Professor Xa praises Kurama for discovering this, and then announces he's leaving the lab to focus on the virus full-time. Kurama becomes the new director. Chief Kakuzawa believes there must be a Queen Diclonius who started the outbreak and orders Kurama to find her. When Kurama hesitates, Kakuzawa reminds him that his daughter is only alive because he allowed it and demands loyalty. Back in the present, Kurama places photos of his wife and their daughter Nana on his desk, wishing she can have a better future than he did. Nana, meanwhile, wakes from a dream where she's being punished for burning money. Mayu brings her breakfast and apologizes for having another guest. Yuka says it's fine and suggests a trip to Anishima Park. Everyone agrees and Nana feels unexpectedly happy for the first time. At the research lab, scientists Shirakawa and Isobe visit a hidden chamber. Inside is Silpellet number 35, the most dangerous and powerful Diclonius ever seen. Unlike others, she is a third-generation child with 26 visible vectors. Even Lucy doesn't compare to her strength and rage. At the research facility, two scientists, Shirakawa and Isobe, entered the special chamber where a powerful Diclonius known as number 35 was kept. Isobe explained why she had to be locked away. Her powers were incredibly dangerous, even stronger than Lucy's. However, the real problem was that she didn't hesitate to kill humans. Controlling her was nearly impossible. He teased Shirakawa about whether she thought they connect with number 35 emotionally. Soon after, a young female scientist named Sato joined them. She had been with number 35 since birth and believed the girl saw her as a mother. Sato said that although number 35 had the strength to leave her chamber, she might not be able to walk properly because she had spent her entire life locked up. Isobe doubted Sato's confidence, but Sato remained sure the child would recognize her. Shirakawa then revealed a shocking truth. When number 35 was born, bombs were placed inside her body to stop her if she ever became uncontrollable. At the time, it was considered an extreme move, but now it seemed necessary. These bombs were actually suggested by Kurama, the girl's father, who didn't want her to hurt anyone. The bombs also acted as a way to keep Kurama in line. Suddenly alarms sounded and the huge doors to number 35's room began to open. Sato gently called for the girl to come out. Weak and trembling, the girl stepped out slowly, tripping over a feeding tube. Everyone noticed a gourd in a control room ready to trigger the bombs if things went wrong. Sato lovingly unwrapped the bandages from the girl's face and asked if she recognized her. The girl answered softly, pretending at first, but then cruelly denied the connection. In an instant, Sato was torn apart by the girl's invisible arms. The others watched in horror. Shirakawa ordered the bombs to be triggered, but the guard couldn't act. He had been killed by Sato's thrown body. Isobe hit the emergency alarm and he and Shirakawa ran as number 35, whose real name was Mariko, began to approach. As Mariko closed in, one of the bombs inside her exploded and blew off her right arm, causing intense pain and stopping her attack. It was revealed that Sato had triggered the explosion before dying. As the guards came in, Shirakawa shouted for them to trap Mariko while she was weakened. She reminded Mariko that more pain would come if she didn't listen, making the girl scream in both anger and fear. Back at the Maple House, Nana was delighted to try ice cream for the first time. Despite a quick brain freeze, she enjoyed it. She and Mayu overheard Kota scolding Yu, who had taken apart a grandfather clock. Kota then asked to speak privately with Nana. In the dining room, Kota and Yuka tried to understand Nana's connection with Mayu. Nana misinterpreted what Kota said, thinking he wanted her to leave, when he only meant for her to help around the house. Meanwhile, Mayu struggled to fix the clock. Hearing Nana cry, Mayu ran to her. Nana admitted she feared being alone again. Kota and Yuka comforted her and assured her that she belonged with them. They even asked Mayu to teach Nana tasks simple, helping her feel useful. Overwhelmed by kindness, Nana began to cry tears of happiness. Later, she and Mayu enjoyed a bath together, something Nana had never had before. She explained to Mayu that she must still be ready to fight if Nai ever became Lucy again, but for now, she hoped for peace. Elsewhere, 2 police officers in Kamakura showed a creep vendor a photo of Nana. He confirmed seeing her, and this news reached Isobe and Shirakawa. Isobe asked if Mariko could capture Nana, and Shirakawa said the bombs still kept her under control. Shirakawa then took charge of all matters related to Mariko and planned to inform Kurama. However, she was surprised to learn that Kurama had quietly disappeared from the facility the night before. Before she could think further about it, she was told that Mariko's transport was ready. Shirakawa couldn't shake her worries about what Kurama might be planning. Meanwhile, Arakawa, another scientist, was buried in research. She searched endless university photos for the man who had seen horns on the late Professor Kakozawa's head. Tired and unwashed, she kept working, pressured to find the person responsible. On a nearby beach, Bando was collecting trash, angry about his broken cybernetic arm from a past battle with Nana. Kurama appeared and offered to repair his hand in exchange for help. He wanted Bando to kill a Diclonius he believed was coming to the area. Back at the house, Nana took on the job of feeding Wana, the dog, but needed help from Mayu. Kota told Nana that as long as she contributed something, that was enough. Nana blushed with happiness. She then saw a photo of Kane, Kota's late sister. Kota sadly explained she died after he said something hurtful to her, though he couldn't remember what it was. As Nana and Mayu listened, and Yu grew emotional. She asked Kota not to cry, though he wasn't. This triggered a memory in Yu that briefly made Nana sense that Lucy might be returning, but the moment passed. When Yu ran off with scissors, everyone went looking for her. Kota found Nai outside. She had cut her hair to resemble Kane's and claimed to be Kane, forgiving him and asking him not to be sad. Mayu and Nana watched from a distance. Nana said Nayu was kind, as she had believed. They left the two alone. No continued apologizing. Kota assumed she was talking about a broken seashell from earlier, but she seemed to remember a different, painful memory. Kota hugged her, saying he felt like he had known her forever. Yuka saw this tender moment and ran off, hurt and jealous. Meanwhile, Mariko's helicopter approached Kamakura. Shirakawa couldn't reach Kurama and grew more worried. Mariko, sitting in a wheelchair due to weak legs, asked if she could kill Nana. She saw her as a threat, but her real mission was to capture Lucy. At the house, Kota let Yu work on the broken clock again and asked Mayu if she'd seen Yuka, who was still out. Outside, Mei showed Nana how to feed Wanta. Nana made a funny mistake, confusing Wana's name with what kind of animal he was. They laughed, but suddenly Nana sensed a powerful presence. Mariko was near. At the same time, Mariko sensed Nana and became excited, seeing her as an easy target. Elsewhere, Arakawa finally found Kota's photo by accident while still digging through student records. Back at the house, he quietly continued working on the clock, unaware of the storm coming. Mayu tried to calm a frightened Nana. Kota noticed Yuka was late, and Mayu told him that Nana said someone dangerous was after her. She had left so that trouble wouldn't reach the house. Kota quickly decided to go after Nana, calling her family. He told Mayu to stay behind and to tell Yuka the same, but Ayu followed him anyway. Yuka returned and asked Mayu where Kota had gone. At the beach, Kurama and Bando were ready for the task they had agreed on. Kota and Yu stopped nearby, noticing a TV alert about a police exercise in Inashima. At that moment, Nana arrived at Mariko's location. Mariko excitedly asked if she could hurt Nana. Nana was surprised to see how young and small her opponent was. She planned to knock her out with her prosthetic arms first, then use her powers. But before she could act, she was surrounded by Mariko's many invisible arms. In seconds, Nana was stripped, and her fake limbs were torn apart. Mariko laughed joyfully, treating the fight like a game. On a bridge between Kamakura and Inashima, Nana was being cruelly tortured by Mariko, who treated her like a broken toy. Dropped from high up, Nana hit the ground hard and started bleeding. The soldiers and scientists watching were horrified, and Isub told Mariko to just end Nana's life, but Mariko refused, saying she was only allowed to kill Nana and wanted to enjoy toying with her longer. Though badly hurt, Nana tried to fix herself by reattaching her arms, but before she could do much more, Mariko used her invisible arms, known as vectors, to lift and slam her again. As Nana was dragged around and lifted upside down, Shirakawa realized Mariko saw this not as a fight but as child's play, like pulling wings off an insect. Nana, upside down and helpless, quietly asked her father for help. Elsewhere, Bando and Kurama were speeding toward the scene by boat. At the same time, Kota and Ayu reached the main police barricade only to find all the officers unconscious, as if they had all been knocked out. Back on the bridge, Shirakawa announced the game was over. Mariko, now bored, agreed and dropped Nana again. Just then, Kota arrived, surprising everyone by rushing in to help Nana. No one could believe a human would care for a Diclonius like her. Nana quickly told Kota to leave, worried he'd get hurt. She begged Mariko not to harm him. Mariko asked if she could kill Kota too, but Shirakawa wanted to speak to him first, curious about his bond with the Dicloni. Isub found out the police barrier had failed, calling the situation crazy. He then ordered Mariko to kill Nana. Mariko's vectors attacked again, pushing Kota aside and slamming Nana into the bridge's railing. Mariko rolled closer in her wheelchair and kept attacking. She seemed angry that Nana had friends while she had no one. Filled with jealousy, she began to choke Nana. But with Mariko now closed, Nana fought back despite the pain. She managed to stop Mariko's vectors with her own ability, leaving Mariko powerless. The force of the attack sent Nana flying off the bridge. Kota could only wob shortly after, while Isub called for a team to find Nana in the water. The soldiers turned their attention to Niu, thinking she was Lucy. Shirakawa tried to stop Kota from interfering, and Isub urged Mariko to attack, but Mariko said Niu wasn't Lucy and that her vectors had stopped working. Tearfully, she admitted she could no longer fight and was pulled from the scene. Kota broke free and tried to escape with Niu. Isub, ignoring Shirakawa's concerns, ordered the troops to attack them both. The air filled with bullets, but none hit. Everyone was stunned as the bullets seemed to fall harmlessly around Kota and Nayu. Kota looked at Yu and realized Lucy had returned. Now in control, Lucy calmly walked forward. Shirakawa finally understood how Lucy had avoided capture by hiding behind Nayu's innocent personality. She warned Kota not to trust the girl beside him, but Lucy suddenly split Shirakawa in half using her vectors. As she died, Shirakawa's final thought was regret for Kurama, whom she had quietly loved. Kota watched in horror. His memories came rushing back of blood, of betrayal, and of a young girl calling him a liar. Lucy threw herself into battle. What seemed like a suicidal charge quickly turned into a graceful leap as she crossed to another part of the bridge. While casually deflecting gunfire, she paused only to look at Kota, then jumped again, landing in the middle of the soldiers. She tore them apart with deadly precision and terrifying ease. As the fighting continued, Kota's memories of the past became clearer. He remembered the festival 8 years ago in Kamakura. He had spent time with Yuka, gently teasing her while playing games. She had cried because he would soon leave, and he had comforted her. As they looked for Kane, crowds of frightened people rushed by. Kota's father found them and said there had been an explosion. They found Kane, crying and covered in blood, not her own, but from people she had seen die. Their father decided to take the family back to Hokkaido. At the train station, Yuka made Kota promise not to forget her. He told her he liked her, and she promised to wait for him. Kane, jealous, kicked her and argued with Kota on the train. Later, Kane grew upset again and told Kota that a horned girl had killed people. Kota didn't believe her and called her a liar. Then, from behind a seat, Lucy appeared. Kane panicked. Kota was happy to see her, unaware of what she had done. Kane warned him again, but he still didn't believe her. Lucy glared at him and called him a liar too. The scene shifted again to when Kota first met Lucy. They had played together on the beach, becoming friends. She had asked him to kill her if she ever lost control and hurt people. Now, in the present, Kota watched her destroy the last of the soldiers, understanding at last that she was that same girl. He remembered a moment on the beach when Kane had given him seashells and he had given Lucy a hat. Then back on the train, Lucy had stood behind Kane. Kane had tried to protect her brother and begged him to believe her. Kota, furious, slapped her and threatened to hate her if she didn't apologize to Lucy. Kane, heartbroken, begged him not to hate her, but Lucy didn't hesitate. She used her vectors to cut Kane in half. Her blood soaked Kota, who was frozen in shock. He realized too late what he had done. Their father arrived, was quickly killed by Lucy as well. Kota saw his father's head roll toward him, unable to believe what he was seeing. Kota asked Lucy why she had done this. She replied that she didn't kill him because they were friends. Then she said she would go kill Yuka next. Horrified, Kota attacked her, shaking her and telling her to stop. At some point, Lucy's expression changed. She began to realize the damage she had caused. Back in the present, Isob crawled away from the battlefield. Kota, now remembering everything, angrily told Lucy that she had destroyed his life. He demanded to know what she was and why she did it. Lucy said it didn't matter. Kota disagreed, insisting that killing his family made it matter to him. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. Kota pushed Lucy down to protect her. The shooter was Bando, who had arrived too late to fight Mariko, but seeing Lucy, he was eager for revenge. Bando fired nonstop. Lucy pushed Kota away and ran, leaping to another bridge section. She told Kota to wait for her at the stone steps near the sea as she escaped under heavy fire, leaving Kota alone again. Kota was saved from drowning and held tightly by Kurama, who wrapped her in his coat. She was overjoyed to see him again. Earlier, Kurama had dropped Bando off in their boat and had seen Nana fall into the water. He realized how close he had come to losing her and reminded her that she was supposed to stay far away. Nana avoided explaining everything and instead asked why he had returned. Elsewhere, Lucy had defeated Bando again. Though she mocked him, she chose not to kill him. Ignoring his angry words, she told him in a quiet way that he would not see her again. At Maple House, Mayu grew worried about Kota and the others, since they had not returned. Yuka shared with Mayu a painful truth. Kota had once witnessed the death of his sister Kane and their father by a killer whose identity was still unknown. The trauma left Kota with memory loss, and he had spent time in the hospital. Yuka guessed that Kota's kindness to girls in trouble was because he had been unable to save Kane. She felt guilty for being jealous and angry at Kota when he had never meant to hurt her. Mayu asked if Yuka loved Kota, and Yuka admitted that she did. At a secret hideout, Isobe informed Chief Kakuzawa that Lucy had killed Shirakawa and that Mariko's powers were gone. Kakuzawa, however, said Mariko could still be useful. Isobe was troubled that a dangerous girl like Mariko was Kurama's daughter, especially since he respected Kurama. Outside Mariko's room, he told the soldier on duty to act with full force if needed. Inside, Mariko had overheard the conversation and began to think more deeply about her last name, Kurama. On the beach, Nana stood with Kurama. She said she could sense Mariko nearby and asked why he needed to kill her. Kurama simply said Mariko was his daughter. Nana didn't understand fully before she also sensed Lucy coming closer. At the same time, Lucy and Mariko sensed each other. Mariko smiled, eager to fight Lucy again. Back at the hideout, gunshots rang out. Isobe arrived to see the guard outside Mariko's room dead and Mariko standing freely. Her powers had returned after recovering from Nana's earlier attack. Mariko joyfully noted that Lucy was close and looked forward to their meeting. Lucy reached the top of the tower where Mariko waited. Isobe and a soldier hid nearby. Hoping the fight between the two girls would end with both of them dead, they had a remote control for the bombs inside Mariko's body to use as a last resort. Mariko asked Lucy why she had come. Lucy said she didn't want anyone else involved, knowing Mariko had been after her all along. Mariko saw this as a sign of bravery. She quickly attacked, surprising Lucy with the reach and number of her invisible arms. Both girls floated using their powers. Lucy pushed Mariko out of her wheelchair, trying to end the battle quickly. She said she would kill Mariko without pain, but Mariko laughed, believing no one could kill her, not even Lucy. Lucy thought she had damaged Mariko's arm and weakened her, but was shocked to find the arm was a prosthetic. Mariko then attacked fiercely, smashing Lucy into a railing and breaking one of her horns. Isobe felt confident they had won and moved in to capture Lucy. He began pressing buttons on Mariko's remote when Kurama arrived with Nana. Mariko was happy to see Kurama and tried to walk toward him, though she could barely stand. She collapsed but was smiling. Kurama, with tears in his eyes, raised his gun at her. Mariko cried, realizing why he had come. She told him she had survived her painful life by dreaming her parents would come and love her. Now that dream was being shattered. Kurama explained that he had killed other children like Mariko in the past, but had spared his own daughter. What he was doing now was his way of making peace with that guilt. Mariko questioned why she had to suffer so much if he had loved her all along. Nana tried to warn Kurama of the danger, calling him Peppa. This enraged Mariko, who felt betrayed and replaced by Nana. In anger, she attacked Nana, hitting her repeatedly. Kurama dropped his gun and approached Mariko, gently lifting her into his arms. He apologized for the love and comfort she never received and told her she had always been in his heart. In that moment, Mariko stopped being a violent weapon and became a sad, broken child again. Isobe watched silently as Kurama promised Mariko that they would be together from now on. Then Kurama told Aisob to activate the bombs inside Mariko. He had known all along what kind of people Kakuzawa and his team were, and he had prepared for this day. He asked Nana to live a good life and walked away with Mariko in his arms. From above, Nana and Aisob looked down at Kurama and Mariko. Aisob, feeling he had no choice, followed Kurama's order and pressed the button. Kurama told Mariko that her mother had loved her deeply and that he did too. They embraced one final time before the bombs exploded, ending their lives. From a distance, Lucy watched the blast. She had escaped just before it happened. Nana cried, heartbroken over losing her father figure. Aisob prepared to shoot her, thinking he could gain favor with Kakuzawa. Before he could act, Lucy killed him, saying that humans were foolish. Nana defended Kurama in her mind, but broke down in tears again. Lucy told her to return to Maple House and live a life she herself could never have, then walked off to meet Kota. At the Research Institute, Chief Kakuzawa grew angry and ordered his soldiers to destroy Lucy. He only cared about keeping her head and part of her body alive. Arakawa secretly hid Kota's name and photo from the chief and asked if she could leave to take a bath. Kakuzawa removed his wig, revealing he had small horns like the Diclonia. He said that his real plans were only just beginning. Arakawa, disturbed by this, quietly left the room. Meanwhile, Kota waited at the stone steps as promised. Lucy arrived, brushing off concern about her injuries. She revealed she was both his childhood friend and you. She explained that her kind could destroy humanity within 5 years, but she would not do it because she didn't want to harm Kota, the only person who had ever meant something to her. Lucy said that everything she had done, all the violence she had caused, was just so she could see him and apologize. As she turned to leave, Kota grabbed her and asked her to stay. He said he could never forget what she did to his family, but he also didn't want her to hurt anyone else. He still cared for the girl she had once been, especially Nayu. Lucy kissed him deeply, and they shared a quiet, emotional farewell. She admitted she had wanted to forget her past and live as Niyu with him. He reminded her that she must also carry pain, which shaped who she became. They hugged tightly before Lucy walked away for the last time. Nana, cold and exhausted, made her way up the stairs near Maple House, determined to return home to her new family. Later, searchlights filled the sky as Lucy faced the heavily armed team sent to stop her. Gunfire and invisible arms clashed, and a broken horn flew through the air. Some time passed. One of the dogs napped outside Maple House. Inside, Yuka scolded Kota for not doing chores. He found the seashell Nayo once gave him and quietly kept it to himself. Yuka didn't press him for details. In the kitchen, Mayu praised Nana's cooking. The girls teased each other cunningly, happy with their peaceful lives. At lunch, an extra place was set to honor Nanyu. They remembered the hard night they had survived, and Nana hoped Lucy and Mariko could have enjoyed this happiness too. She cried, moved by the beauty of life. As they ate, Wana barked as if recognizing someone. Inside, Kota's music box stopped just as the old clock began to tick again. A shadow appeared at the front door. Though it wasn't clear who it was, everything hinted that Lucy had returned, bringing hope that her story wasn't over yet, and that's when the anime ends. Let us know in the comments your favorite moment of this anime, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video.